Everyone has a story. Everyone has been through something that has changed them. So, never judge a person by the chapter you walked in on.
Just gonna love you. Yeah, I'm gonna love you. Just gonna love you. Yeah, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you, babe. Cross my heart and hope to die.
Boom, ladies, gentlemen. I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are warm. Welcome to the show. What a night in store this evening. It is great to see you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are warm, kicking and fly today, baby, because it's Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central. That means it's time for Tea with P, where the T is beer and the P is me, and you are here with me, and we are gonna relax, guys. Huge shout out to the band doing their thing back there. Yeah, looking sweet, Susan. Woo, go for it. Mrs. P doing her thing out here. Mrs. P Radiohead. Look at her. Shout out, Mrs. P. Oh yeah, thank you guys, and a huge shout out to you guys for tuning in here tonight, baby. What a beautiful night. What a great night in store. We've got ourselves a great guest at the top of the hour. We're gonna be sitting down with Sly, AKA Loco, from Canna Convos, from Instagram, YouTube. You guys know who he is. We're gonna be having a conversation with him. We got quite the topics of conversation to have before that as well. Tons in the nudes today. We're gonna be hammering out, is the black market to blame for the legal struggles? I don't know. But actually I do know. It's not. But we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about Florida and Amendment 3 and whether or not you should be voting yes for Amendment 3. It's a little up in the air, but we're going to be talking about it, guys. We got that and so much more in store. But before we do that, I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons, baby. Yo, shout out to everybody down here at the bottom of the screen. Appreciate you guys so much for joining the inner squad and up. If you guys would like to join the Patreon as well, go to patreon.com/pigeonsfo20 and go check out what we got to offer over there. You might find a perk that suits your needs. We're doing individualized grow classes as well every 2 weeks, and we're growing, we're planting, and I think just about everyone got 100% on their germination test. Yeah, we don't do tests, but they did get 100% germination rates, which is freaking awesome, so I'm pretty proud of that. Shout out to my patrons, guys. Go check things out, see if there's something in there that you might enjoy, okay? Huge shout out to everybody in the chat here. We got a zesty chat, don't we? And don't be judging my AI chat. You know how much bots cost these days? It's expensive, okay? To have a show that barely looks alive so that I can have it look like there's something going on over here, that's a lot of money, okay? So nobody picking on my my AI characters, okay? 420 Things might be AI, but he's my AI. Okay, all right, good to see you guys, man. I see another WRB, good to see you, man. Dad's Grow, what's up, man? JP's in the house, Trent's got a garden, I'm glad to hear that, man. CLTV is here, good to see you, homie. Ames is in the house as well. Ames, good to see you. Cole, good to see you, Cole. Hopefully everything's sounding great. Huge shout out to Mama Kush and the crew over at HGTC. C Bunny and Mr. Ganix doing their thing. They had the legendary Jinx Proof on the show tonight, and Jinx just dropping gem after gem after gem, and the conversation was just fantastic. So huge shout out to HGTC, huge shout out to Jinx Proof for doing his thing. It was a really good conversation. So shout out to the three of you guys for making Jinx feel like he was right at home for a good conversation. It's Reginald's birthday, is that the thing? Hey, happy birthday, Reginald the mechanic. Happy birthday to you. See, this is a live show. If I pre-recorded it, I never would have known that. Thank you for reaching out to me to tell me it was your birthday earlier so I could pre-record the show. Guys, thank you guys for being here, man. I really appreciate you. Got a question for you this evening. You know what it is. What are you smoking on tonight, man? What are you smoking on tonight, man? I'm going to be smoking on some Gorilla Butter. Yep. It might be called something else, but I'm not referring to it as that. Popularized by some, but originating with Fresh Coast seeds. That's what I'm going to be toking on tonight. What are you toking on? What's in your bowl? I want to know. I want to know. Got a fresh, clean bong here. This is my Jet Filtrations water pipe. A lot of people ask me about this since I've been doing little toke reviews over on Instagram. Oh, I don't have I'll take an ashtray. There, Mrs. P. A fully loaded ashtray that if I like just move too fast, I will lose it all. So, do I want a different lighter? One that doesn't hide? Yep. There we go. Huge shout out to Mrs. P. Mrs. P, how you doing today?
I'm good.
You're good? Yeah, you're good?
Yep.
Good. Boys back in hockey?
I was going to say, we had first hockey practice tonight, so it was tight timing, but...
Tight timing. And you're absolutely right. And that actually reminds me, I wanted to mention to everybody too, as hockey season kicks on, I'm going to be dropping in the community tab over on YouTube the dates that that the Tea with P will not be live. There'll be a few dates, probably away games primarily, like that'll happen on Wednesdays. We might not make it back in time, and I ain't missing nothing. I don't want to miss any of my boys' hockey. So, what I'll do is at the beginning of the month, I'll post which dates were not live. So stay tuned. As the winter goes on, hockey kicks up, so we want to make sure that everybody gets their tea, man. I understand. Everybody gets their tea.
There shouldn't be too many because Mrs. P got roped into managing the hockey team.
Ah.
So I will be scheduling the games, and I'm going to try really, really hard to schedule as many not on Wednesdays as possible.
Sweet. You hear that? You hear that, Mrs. P? Helping manage the team. That's the kind of stuff we love. We'd say she volunteered, but she got roped into it because she was asked by a friend that we can't say no to.
She just asks so nicely.
She's very kind. She's a very sweet lady.
And
shout out to you, C.
Yeah.
Also, huge shout out Mr. Westport in the chat this evening. Good to see you, Mr. Westport. Pleasure as always. I'm going to rip this, friends, and I want you to know that this toke, it's for you. It's not for world peace. Forget about it. We're not trying to feed the hungry. No. This hoot is for you. You worked hard today. It was a tough Wednesday. You bear the responsibilities of your family, your job, your friends. And you know what? I see you out there. And I'm rooting for you. Keep smiling, because it looks good on you. This hoot's for you. Cheers. Woo-wee. Oh, that was a doozy, baby. That was a doozy. That's that Gorilla Butter right there, and it tastes just so sweet. Before we get into the nudes, I've got a little community stuff that I kind of wanted to mention. For those that don't know, Seed Junkies Michigan had their website. Or no, their Instagram taken down. And I just wanted to, I do have that as the very first, yeah, there we go. So right here, as you guys can see, Seed Junkies Michigan had their site taken down, or their page taken down on Instagram. I don't know if at this time they have a backup page, but just because of the impersonations and the impostery, I want you guys to be careful that if anyone reaches out to you via Seed Junkies Michigan, it's a lie, probably a scam. If they do put up a new channel, I will be sure to tell you guys as soon as they do. Or if they have already done one, maybe you guys can let me know in the chat. I checked this out this morning or yesterday, so I didn't have time to. I didn't have time to double check to see if they had an account up or not yet. Yes, and then while I was gaming with while I was working very hard doing some behind the scenes work, Rob and I were discussing this, and it turns out that Pablo Cannabis was also taken down as well. So yeah, shout out to Rob for the info on that. That's my trusted source right there. So shout out to them. The reason I want to mention this is because I want to kind of just, build a little momentum. So if you notice that their pages are down, we can try to get to their new page. You guys know that Hi Again gets taken down. I try to make a post on Instagram and see how it all goes. And I know what it feels like to be deleted. I've been deleted. I know what it's like to have your community stand behind you, take your back, and try to help you up. So that's the least that we can do here with the flock, is just try to build a little momentum for people so that they can get these accounts back, because it's devastating. They said that they had their accounts well over 100,000, and now it's gone. It's gone. So I forgot to turn the air conditioner off. I don't know how much that sound's coming through.
It is a little bit. I haven't heard from my water.
It is a little bit. That's what I thought. So, there's a chow coming too. We had a podcast chow that was going to join us for the show today. He was joining until Mom left, and now he's gone. He's gone. So yeah, shout out to Seeds Junkie. Shout out to everybody who's going to go and hit them with a follow so that we can keep their accounts going. There was another community portion. Oh, there's so many stories today. Come on, there was one more thing that I wanted to cover before, but I don't see the stories. There was one more thing. I can't remember what it was. No. Oh, shoot. She's coming. I can't remember the other community thing.
What was that?
My writers are on strike. There was another community thing. What was the next tab after that one?
Adam?
Oh, yes. Fuck. Damn it. Sucks that I forgot that. But, I wanted to give a huge shout out to my boy Adam Ill, the highest host. He was hosting a panel at Hall of Flowers, and he was having a conversation with the man himself that really kind of mainstreamed the concept of taking dabs, using a carb cap, not being over 600 degrees, these kind of things. And I really just wanted to give a shout out to Adam, because this is not only a friend of mine, but the highest host in town. And he's hosting a panel at the Hall of Flowers. And the Hall of Flowers right now is going on somewhere in LA. I wish I knew where. Santa Rosa, I think. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, pretty sweet to see Adam out here representing the community at the Hall of Flowers, man, and having a conversation. My ignorance is going to show. What's the name of the fellow he's talking to right there? There's an at in there. Just because Santa Claus. It's in the North Pole this year, guys. Hall of Flowers, North Pole. It looks really warm. That's good. I would never even tell. But yeah, Tasha Tattoos. Good to see you. Welcome in. But yeah, just want to give a shout out to the community, man. Community's doing their things. Community is always growing and blossoming, and it's wicked to be able to highlight it and kind of see what's going on around the world. So yeah. Huge shout out to Adam. Huge shout out to Hall of Flowers doing their thing out there, man. It looked like it was a lot of fun. I was watching the After Dark crew as well out there having themselves a great time. It looked like it was a lot of fun. Shout out to the guys sitting down with Jorge Cervantes. Wicked time. It looked like they were having so much fun. I've kind of been tapping in here and there, just kind of watching their progress as they've kind of toured around Humboldt. They're doing quite their thing. So shout out to the After Dark crew, because it looks like they're having a ton of fun. And I'm not jealous. Spending times with legends. It's okay. No, awesome. A huge shout out to you guys for doing your thing. It looks like a lot of fun. Guys, I'm actually going to have one more rip, because why would we talk about the nudes if we weren't going to be high AF? So let's have a rip, And then let's get into the nudes, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a lot to discuss in a short amount of time, and I don't want to miss anything. If you guys are interested in participating in the show and you want to contribute to the stories that we tell, you can follow me at Pigeons420 over on Twitter/X, and hit me up. It's actually where I got a couple of the stories tonight is from X, and I really appreciate you guys for hitting me up. Actually, the last 2 episodes have been titled by stories from you guys. Actually had a title, already had a show lined up. Typically have a show lined up for Monday, for Wednesday, and boom, changed it. I was like, nah, I like this one better. So it was the auto flower patent and something else before that. So shout out to you guys for helping making the wheels turn. I really want to cover things that are important to you. So that's why we do it. Cheers, friends. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into the nudes.
Cannabis. All things culture, science, and health. Your one-stop shop for all things Cannabis.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to discuss, and a couple of these stories kind of hit home for me because I'm kind of fed up with hearing this same narrative over and over and over again. I got really high that time, I'll admit. I got really high that time. And I'm trying to walk it off like it was nothing. I probably could, but I'm like, nah, take a second. There's kind of this narrative.
Your iPad's upside down.
Thank you. Oh, I wish I had my grad photos. Do you remember that, babe? When I graduated university? And the photographer was like, so you're here for grad photos? I was like, yeah, I can't believe I graduated. He's like, oh, you're one of those? I was like, yeah. And then he's like, why don't we get pictures of you with the book upside down? I was like, genius.
We do still have those.
Yeah, I didn't throw them away. But thankfully, the iPad just flips around, you know what I mean? So it's never upside down for me. My textbook never did that. So there's this narrative out there that the legal market struggles today because of one thing and one thing only. Can you guess what that is? Is it government? Is it regulations? Is it pricing? Is it accessibility? Is it quality? No. That proponents of the legal market point the finger at the black market as the single culprit as to why the legal industry can't take foot. I'm tired of hearing this narrative because the majority of people that are not majority, but a lot of the people that are in the market today came from the black market. They came from the black market. And it seems like now once you make it, you shit on everyone behind you. And I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. So there's this story coming out of Fox of the biggest competitor to Utah's medical cannabis program right now, question mark, the black market. I completely disagree, but before we get into my opinion, the next tab is a video of how this narrative continues to spread. If you wouldn't mind throwing that on. Great. Now I'm gonna get suppressed. The news can put this on their shit, but I can't play it.
Alex Orge is one of the founders of Wholesome Co. He also helped campaign for the citizen ballot initiative that legalized cannabis before lawmakers replaced it with a highly regulated program.
The growth is tremendous. We're at 80,000 patients. Now we're seeing it start to mature. This is about where we're not seeing as much growth as we did in earlier years. And part of it is just that, I think, a knowledge about the program here. A lot of people still are unaware that medical cannabis is legal.
In fact, Wholesome Co. says its biggest competitor is still the black market.
They're traveling borders or they're getting it from the illicit market.
The Utah Patients Coalition, which advocates for those wanting medical cannabis access, says cost remains the biggest hurdle.
It's a reality in their life.
Okay,
am I going
that's
to
good
be
there.
pain-free?
If you pause that, now go to the... Oh, that's interesting actually why it came out the single audio there. if you click on the dots on the audio, advanced properties, you might be able to switch it to mono. No worries. Don't worry about it now. Hear me out. Hear me out. I do not believe that the only proponent to the legal market is the black market. I totally disagree, because it's the people involved in the legal market that have botched the system, and that's exactly who you have to blame. The regulation has been over the top. It's like a lottery system. Here in Canada, when the cannabis industry became legal in 2018, it was a lottery system. So essentially, you put your name in. They put the, I don't actually know how they did it, but I'm assuming they did some kind of pull names out of a hat kind of thing. But the influence would have been money. So the fees, the regulatory tax, the hoops that you have to jump through and pay are essentially hindering the system. It does not focus on quality. It doesn't focus on expertise or wisdom or knowledge in the field. It comes down to money. It comes down to money. Do you have enough money to throw up huge warehouses? Do you have the money to go through the extensive quality control, the manufacturing, the compliances that you have to follow in regards to safety for bottles and containers? The openings on these are ridiculous. That costs money. Who can do that? People with money, people with power. So then essentially, that's what hinders the problem. What about the price? What about the price of legal product? Why is it that you still can, why are there eighths for anything more than $20? And an eighth for $20 is pretty expensive. Shout out to Toba Grown. I know you can get 5 grams for $20 through his stuff. And it's like, this is the kind of thing that needs to happen. There should be no such thing as $100 eighths, $100 quarters. That's ridiculous. That's a lot of money. When you can go to the black market, it's not the black market's fault that the legal market is still trying to charge people an arm and a leg for the product. The only advantage that the black market has is that it's been tried, tested, and is true. It works. It levels itself out. I remember when you used to buy grams for $15 to $20. I remember almost to the day, like I remember where I was when Grand Theft Auto came out or when Dale Earnhardt passed away. I remember when weed went down to $10 a gram. Yep. I thought it was amazing. Why did it go down to $10 a gram? Because competition. Because there's more people sprouting up. So you can get $10 a gram from them, $10 a gram from them, 10 from there, 10 from there, 10 from there. Well, guess what? Now it's a matter of who's got better shit. I'm not going to the guy who's giving me stems and sticks. I'm going to the guy who's giving me that fire. That's the difference. Now the problem is that when you go to the legal market, it's all red tape. It's black tape. It's a who you are kind of system. It's a who you are. Here in Canada, we've got one of the most corrupt corporations dominating the game. And I'm talking about Canopy Growth. Sorry, that stings for people, but the amount of shit that they got away with, I've done videos on it. They don't like me. I've done videos on it. But the reality is they dominate, and they've violated the law. They've had shitty product. Their prices are way too high. They've literally been busted smuggling product. It was actually before it was Canopy Growth. I believe it was Tweed. Was it Tweed? I gotta get my facts straight before I start talking shit. But it was Canopy Growth before it was Canopy Growth. They were busted on trading day smuggling hockey bags full of weed across the border. Guess what they got penalized with? Nothing. Because they were gonna go public the next day. Crazy. That's the reality of it. While you've got mom and pop out here growing incredible shit, but can't afford to get it to the market. When in fact, all they should be able to do to get started is start a farmer's market, man. You should be able to take your shit down to the market, put it on a table, and people should be able to walk in and get it. And then you know what? That starts a little bit momentum. After a couple months of doing those kind of sales, next thing you know, you can buy a bigger shed. Now you can hire somebody. Next thing you know, maybe you're getting a storefront. Maybe you're getting, but no, because you can't have a farmer's market because it's weed, it's bad. And it's like, no. I got buddies where I can sit down, or I had buddies, allegedly. I Googled a buddy one time. I can sit down in his house, smoke his herb, get to try some of it, and then he's like, which one would you like? I'd be like, God, man, if I couldn't take all three, I could pick after a sample. You walk into a liquor store, they give you liquor, they give you samples, they feed you shots, and then you drive home. Like, come on. And you can't even smell fresh bud. So I get it. I don't get it. I don't like the narrative that the black market is to blame. No. If anything, the black market thrives because of the legal market's fumbles. That's not the black market's fault. That's the legal market fucking it all up for everyone. That's the reality of the situation. So, and I could keep going on. The banking issues, the fact that businesses can't get banking, can't get real financial backing, any real security for their finances. What? It's not federally legal yet? What? So it's like, no. Don't blame the black market for the legal market's woes. The legal market's fucking it up all by itself. And thank heavens there's somewhere else to go. That's my opinion, and if you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. I mentioned last week that a lot of the OGs in the system don't want to see legalization. This is why. Because it's fumbled. This system works already. It's been working. It's fine. The product's pretty damn good. So it's like, you weigh the pros and cons. It's like, I get it. I understand why it's just like, leave the plant alone. Don't touch it. That's not an opinion I agree with. I do believe, sorry, I'm on the edge of my seat. You got me going here, folks. I do believe in regulation. I do think there should be some regulation. I don't think kids should have access to it. And that's such a vague statement to say because as a Canadian, my government runs off that statement. We don't want kids to get it. Yeah, well, they're getting it. They're getting it. So it's like, that can't be the basis. But, I do believe that it should be in separate shops. It should be like sold in the same way that you get tobacco or I guess you can't say vitamins per se. Some vitamins are behind the counter, but the same way you get a prescription. You go behind the counter. You can find that sometimes in a drugstore. You can find that sometimes in you can find a pharmacy in all kinds of locations. So it's like, that's how it should be, I think. But what's your version of legalization? That's what I want to ask, because we see the black market, we see what's trying to be a legal market, but what's your version of a legal market? Forget about what's been done. What's your version? I would like to see. I kind of agree that there shouldn't be dispensaries or alcohol shops next to schools. That's kind of something where I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Okay, that's fine. I get it. So there's some regulation that I can get behind. What's your version of legalization look like? I want to hear from you guys. Not go to jail is legal. Yep. But I would love to see a farmer's market. I remember when I was a kid, my buddy and I, shout out to Trent, we used to go to the farmer's market after, we would grow in his aunt's garden and we would take the reward of the growth and we would sell it. And when we would sell things that we grew in the garden, it was so satisfying. I remember that. And I think weed's the exact same thing. You should be able to take it to a market and disperse it and sell it. You shouldn't have to jump through hoops. Like, I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but right now, do you know like bake sales? You can't have a public bake sale anymore. No. Because health and safety comes in and they're like, no. You've got too much yeast in your muffins and the kids are getting too much yeast and muffins and what? I don't know if that's the facts, but that's crazy to me. That's just crazy to me. You shouldn't have health and service regulations getting involved in a farmer's market. Anyways, that's my opinion, and I ask you what you think. You can tweet me at Pigeons420, or I can try to see it as it flies by through the chat. I see Bendo, Tim Butler, good to see you. Tim, long time. Okie, good to see you. Nate, what's up, man? Trent, I see you out there, man. East Coast, what's up? On a roll, what's up? One thing I wanted to discuss here, ladies and gentlemen, was Amendment 3. Amendment 3. This is something that is is up for vote in Florida. And it honestly was off my radar until I saw a clip of Dave Portnoy on X saying this. I'll let him say it. Hopefully it comes out in more than one ear. I don't think it will.
Listen.
Oh, it is.
Sunday afternoon.
Turn it up a bit.
Football on TV, pizza on the way. In Massachusetts, smoking a little weed, just enjoying my day. Florida, you can't do this. In my Miami house, you can't do this. Why? Freedom. It's about freedom. Half the states allow this. Legal marijuana. Florida. I want to be able to watch football, eat pizza, and smoke. We're all adults here, 21 plus. Make your own decisions. It's on the ballot. Vote yes on 3. Legalize recreational weed. Come on, where are we, Florida? Wake up. Wake up. Don't tell other people what to do in their own house. We're grown adults. It's safe. It's legal. Over half the states in the country have it. Why don't we in Florida? I'm a Florida resident. I want to be able to smoke in my house, watching football, eating pizza like a human. I can do it in Massachusetts. Make it legal on ballot day. Vote yes on 3 in Florida. Thank you.
Boy, I need some lip chat. So when I first seen this, I thought, yeah, okay, legalize weed. That makes total sense to me. And I'll be straight to you, I didn't even look into it any more than that. Then I saw this video. This video was also on X, and it was about voting no to Amendment 3.
Amendment 3 could legalize recreational marijuana.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm getting ready to grow my weed. Amendment 3 is on the ballot, and oh my God, who are you?
I'm Big Weed. Actually, we wrote Amendment 3, so we're the only ones that can grow it.
So I can't grow...
Not even one plant.
So Amendment 3 is not about freedom. I vote no.
Big Weed, baby. We control everything.
Amendment...
So... when I listened to that... And actually, as a matter of fact, if I may, since you put in the chat, Purple Dragon says, I'm voting no on 3 in Florida. No home grow. Fuck no. Fuck no. Hey, I appreciate you sharing your opinion here, man. Hear me out. Neither one of those statements, either by Dave or by that commercial, gave me any information. There was nothing stated by Dave other than legalizing weed. That was it. Didn't say anything more about it. Then, of course, obviously, you can't just say legalize weed because there isn't such thing as just legalizing weed. There never has been, or anywhere that exists anyway. There has to be more to it. And then when I listened to this commercial, I thought, well, of all this didn't tell me anything either. Oh, sorry. This didn't tell me anything either. This there we go. This didn't say anything either. This just said, I'm Big Weed, I wrote this, no home grow, forget about it. And then so he says no. Okay, well, Is that correct? No homegrown Amendment 3. It is correct. There is nothing stated about homegrown Amendment 3. Before I jump into someone who's got a much smarter take on this than me, because I've got someone lined up here, I've got Freedom Lawyers did a great video on the breakdown, and I've got some timestamps. We're going to check this out. But, damn it. I lost train of thought. So anyways, moving straight to Freedom Lawyers, he breaks down Amendment 3 and the statements that DeSantis says in regards to how it's going to lay out. And, as I was going to say, I'll caveat that, segue that with, in Canada, when we first legalized, we also did not have home grow available to us, okay? Keep that in mind, okay? We now do. So if you wouldn't mind, on the Freedom Lawyers video, the first one, please. And actually, can you read in the description that there's a timestamp and then there's a title next to the timestamp? Yeah. Yeah. Bring that up and then just read the title. Or just read the title so I know what it is.
Do you want me to play the video?
Yeah, I just want to know the title before we play the video.
Oh, no one is in jail for weed.
Okay, so DeSantis says there's no one in jail for weed. He really plays down the current status of the law. So go ahead.
Oh, I see.
Let's jump in.
Nobody's in jail for smoking marijuana in our state prison system. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Not one person is in jail for possession or use of simple amounts of marijuana. And any marijuana offenses, they've usually committed other crimes that are more serious and that got tacked on.
Governor DeSantis just said that no one is in jail for simple possession of marijuana. That is not true. A quick look at recent arrest data out of Orange County, Florida shows plenty of people are taken to jail and are in jail for marijuana charges. If you look a little bit deeper into this arrest data, you'll see that the black community is disproportionately affected worse than the whites. That's based on zip code and race. I'm not suggesting what conclusions should be drawn from this, but there's certainly a conclusion that can be drawn. I'll leave a link to that spreadsheet down below. Governor?
Okay. So I wanted to highlight that because when you listen to DeSantis speak, governor of Florida, he really, it's very misleading the way that he frames cannabis regulation right now. Can you play the second clip with the title, please?
Marijuana can't be regulated if legalized.
Cannabis can't be regulated if legalized. Doesn't even make sense. Can you play it?
And this idea of it can be regulated in public, I would just point out, if you read the text of the amendment, there is nothing in their proposed Amendment 3 that would authorize restricting use in public. In fact, it says there can be no penalties for possession and use, blanket. There's no exceptions to that. And even if somehow they put that in there, I don't think there's been any place in the country that successfully cabined the use.
This is an outright lie, and I fell for it. The government can obviously regulate marijuana. They regulate fundamental rights like freedom of speech and gun ownership. To determine whether government regulation of a constitutionally protected activity is lawful, we first must analyze what the protected activity is. If the protected activity is a fundamental right, like freedom of speech or gun ownership, then the legal standard the state must meet is called strict scrutiny. Hardly any regulation ever passes that, meaning it's almost always an unconstitutional law. But if the protected activity is not a fundamental right, which marijuana is not a fundamental right, then the legal test to determine whether the regulation is valid is called a rational basis test. Under the rational basis test, the court has to find that the government has a legitimate interest in regulating the activity and that the regulation tries to accomplish that goal. If that's met, the regulation is lawful. Let's say that Florida passes a law that says no smoking weed on the beach. A citizen gets arrested for smoking weed on the beach and then files a lawsuit against the state of Florida saying that, hey, this is a bad law. The court's going to rule that the state of Florida has a legitimate interest in protecting tourism and that this law serves to carry that out. This law would be held as constitutional. Governor DeSantis.
So essentially what they're saying right there is that, yes, you can. The government instituted this. They can then regulate it. So the idea that you can't have home grow doesn't mean that it can't happen in the future, that it can't be regulated or added. There was one more that I wanted to read.
There's two more.
There was, but I read the first title. What's this one?
Amendment doesn't allow for home grow.
That's the one I wanted.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, please. Amendment doesn't allow for home grow. This is the one I wanted you to see, Perps.
You have a right to possess and use up to 3 ounces of marijuana, which the law enforcement tells me may be 50 to 100 joints. So that's more than any other state in the country. So they're putting that in the Constitution. So yes, you do have that right, but only if you buy it from them. You can't grow it in your backyard. You got to buy it from them. So they're creating in our Constitution a big weed cartel.
This amendment grants the legislature power to issue licenses for the sale and growth of marijuana. Initially, the medical marijuana treatment centers would be the only licensed entities. From that point forward, the legislature can broaden that out as much as they want. If they want to issue individual citizens the right to grow at home, they can issue out those licenses, no problem. I don't think they will, but that's different than what Governor DeSantis is telling you.
So I really wanted to highlight that because there is the ability to adapt and to change. Now, one thing that I want to state is that when we watch that video and it says that I'm big cannabis and I wrote this, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. This will benefit the big cannabis. That's exactly what's going to happen no matter how the legalization process starts. Unless you are going to say completely legal, which you can't do because the federal government is leaving us in that noose. There isn't a way that makes it so that it just enters and there's nothing around it that says that it can't. The reality is that we have to etch away at the system one movement, amendment at a time in order for this to move in any process. From the evidence that I've seen, from the statements that I've heard, I would vote yes on Amendment 3 for the reasons that we just watched and we just stated. I believe it is a step in the right direction. I respect you if you vote no on Amendment 3. I don't think you're the enemy, and I don't want anyone to think otherwise. I think you have a set of beliefs that set your opinion in the direction that it's going, as do I. You are not the enemy. Our enemy is this system that's making you and I battle against each other. Let's get that off our chests first, because what you believe and what I believe, I honestly, sure, we could state facts, we can try to have a conversation and we'll find some, but the reality is we can't get to a perfect solution. So I understand why there's a lot of contention. It sucks that we have to have these conversations and that we have to break this down to this level, and we can't just look at legalization in a way that's going to focus on quality. It's going to focus on the consumer. It's going to focus on the patient. It's going to focus on the cultivator, the farmer. Like, that's what, the kids, that's what this should be looked at. The science. The fact that the only argument is we got to keep it away from children. We've got to avoid the black market. The cartels are going to get their hands on it. No. That is the wrong attitude. But that's the attitude that the government continues to take. So that's the conversation. That's my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. I know we don't always agree, but that's why I want to hear from you. And I appreciate everyone that's sharing their opinion in the chat tonight. I really appreciate you guys for opening up, being open. The only reason anyone would ever get banned from my chat is if they are showing hatred to somebody else in the chat. Okay? I'm pretty thick-skinned. I can take most of it unless I don't read it and it's just spreading and you got to go. But the reality is that I want to be able to have a great conversation, and I want it to be able to have right here. So like I said, the only reason and maybe if you spam, If you try to like sell stuff or something, that's the worst. But other than that, I just don't want any hatred. I want us to be able to share our opinions. I disagree with the way that topics of controversy are played out. The left versus the right. The pro versus the no. It's just like, no. Those aren't the enemies. Those aren't the enemies. If you guys follow the NHL, it's like, hey, I'm a Bruins fan. You know, you might be a Vegas Knights fan. Shout out to Mrs. P. You might be a Winnipeg Jets fan. You might be a Chicago. But guess what? After the game, guess who the common denominator is? Who do we hate the most? Gary Bettman. Okay? That's the reality. It's not the rivalry on the ice. There's a bigger power overhead that's ruining it all for us. Okay? That's the difference. We're not each other's enemy. We really aren't. It's just they frame it that way, that we are each other's enemy, and we aren't. We are not. We're going to smoke about it. We're going to enjoy each other's company. Guys, we got a great guest coming up in just a few minutes. Mr. Sly, a.k.a. Loco. He's going to be joining us for a hell of a conversation, and I cannot wait. There was a few flyby nudes that I just want to get into. Quick seam of your pants. Guys, guess what? LAPD, we're a couple down here. Oh, I just closed my iPad. We're a couple down. LAPD, they did a raid on a medical clinic, and they got their guns stuck to an MRI machine. That would be an amazing start to a comic, Mrs. P. Amazing start to a comic. No joke. This is the story right there. LAPD raid goes from bad to farce after gun allegedly sucked onto MRI machine. Losers. Oh, an officer with with the LAPD found out the hard way that you can't take metal near an MRI machine after their rifle flew out of their hands and became attached to the machine during a pot raid gone bad. The incident details were described in a lawsuit. Apparently, the owners of NoHo Diagnostic Center are suing LAPD and multiple of the officers, alleging they violated the business owner's constitutional rights. And demanding an unspecified amount of damages. Good. Officers allegedly raided the diagnostic center located in LA, thinking it was a front for an illegal canna cultivation facility, pointing to higher than usual energy use and a distinct odor. Guess what? They found nothing. Not a thing. At one point, an officer walked into an MRI room, passed a sign warning that metal was prohibited inside, with his rifle just slinging from his right hand with an unsecured strap. The MRI machine's magnetic force then allegedly sucked the rifle into the room, pinning it against the machine. That is remarkably dangerous. Remarkably dangerous. Could you imagine if it went off? I've seen some videos, and these officers don't all practice safe firearms handling. Okay, finger on triggers, pointing them at their partners. I've seen some crazy shit, particularly in the LAPD. Not necessarily nearly as bad as Chicago PD. It's crazy. If you watch any kind of body cam footage, you know immediately if it's Chicago PD. How do you know? First of all, you can't tell that any of them are police officers because they all look like they're wearing hoodies and sweaters and jeans and shit. And everyone's running the scene. They're all yelling. It's just that I'm watching. My heart's just racing. I'm like, these officers are probably just high on adrenaline right now because like no one's taking control. Everyone's screaming. So needless to say, doesn't surprise me. LAPD just shit the bed there, guys. Shit the bed. That's unfortunate. But hey, hopefully the health center gets their dues. Gets what they were looking for. Pittsburgh. Shout out to Pittsburgh. I like this one, guys. Pittsburgh. I keep saying Pittsburgh because my story hasn't loaded yet. There we go. Pittsburgh bans workplace discrimination against medical marijuana patients as Pennsylvania lawmakers set up broader legalization push. Now, this is a conversation I can get behind, DeSantis. As Pennsylvania lawmakers revive a push to legalize canna in the state, local legislatures in Pittsburgh have unanimously approved an ordinance banning many employers in the city from discriminating against registered medical canna patience. I know it doesn't sound like much. You'd be like, well, what about the rest of us? We got to get there. We got to get there. You got to crawl before you walk before you run before you work 8 hours a day and you come home and smoke a whole bunch of weeds. So you can go to sleep and do it again. But that's exciting. That's exciting. One step at a time. So that's pretty much it. What's this one? No, don't want to do that one. No, that's it. That's about all I want to do because I want to smoke a little weed before we talk to Sly, because I'm also going to be smoking weed while I'm talking to Sly. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the nudes. This is Tea with P every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central, starting. And gosh, where the tea is P and the beer is me. The tea is P. Oof. Ooh. Ew. I'll take another beer though.
That's a bad one.
The tea is not P. Okay. I get that a lot though. Unfortunately, we're gonna be sitting down with Sly. Hickey Loco. And I'm totally stoked about it. I think he's ready. You gonna throw it or are you gonna switch? I don't want to go off. You're gonna go into the abyss. Oh, okay. Yeah. Is he under a different name? Yeah, it got me too the last time. I was a little confused. I know. No, I know. Yeah. Yo, a huge shout out to everybody for pulling up here tonight. You guys are absolute legends. I really appreciate you guys coming in, having a quality honestly, if you've been around this channel enough, you know that I'm all about having a conversation. You and I will disagree a ton, but we still have the same great time hanging out, chilling, having a quality conversation. And seriously, man, the weed is always better than any kind of discrepancy or any kind of argument that we might get in. So I can always appreciate anyone who's willing to have a good conversation. And that's why I knew that when I switched from doing grow videos, if you will, because I don't even grow anymore, it's all AI, to this kind of content, I knew it was gonna be a hard shift because a lot of people can't handle the conversation. I'm thankful that you guys can. I really am. And so it's kind of been nice to be able to make that happen. You know who else can handle the conversation? My man Sly. My man Sly. He's gonna be joining us right now. Are we ready? Yep. Let's do it.
Come on and lift your glass. You won your own free pass to be our guest. If you're stressed, it's fine dining we suggest. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest.
Hey, my man. You might have to center him out there a little bit. There it is. Boom. Sly, how are you, man?
Pretty good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. I'm doing fantastic. You might have to. Yeah, you just got to pop on the video again, my man.
Do I have to put a join voice or?
You just got to hover over the logo and then click the camera. That's all right.
There it is.
Yeah,
all right.
My man. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good, man. How you doing, bitches?
I'm doing fantastic, man. You look great. Thank you for coming in, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me here.
It's an absolute pleasure, brother. Yeah. Before we go into the fact that I was already supposed to be on your show and we were supposed to have a conversation, let the people know real quick, man. Who are you and what are you about?
How's it going, everybody? My name is Sly, aka Loco. I am on Instagram. I am a cannabis advocate, connoisseur, grower. I'm all about spreading the knowledge about cannabis to as many people as we can, as much people as we can. And I have a show on Instagram, or I was on YouTube. It started out on Instagram, but I've moved to YouTube and it's called Canna Combos. So all the people out there that I see on Instagram is where I, get to know people, and I'll ask them if they want to be on the show. So if you're out there and you're good vibes, I will most likely see you if you come follow me, and I'll shoot you a message and have you on Canna Combos.
Bro, I love it, man. I absolutely love that you're just diving into the conversation and with everyone. Open table, it's a quality conversation talking about this beautiful plant of ours. And I love what you're doing, man. I love it. Good for you.
Thank you so much. And I also wanted to give you a shout out, Pigeons and Mrs. Pigeons. Thank you so much, guys, for being just like you, just coming out, because you guys were one of the first ones to start doing all the, getting cannabis knowledge out there. There was some before, but when I came around, you were the first one that I watched, and I learned like everything that I knew from you. I watched you since before you were showing your face.
What?
And yes, back in the day, man, hardcore. So I've been watching for a very long time, and I just want to say that you are a pillar of the community. Thank you so much for all that you do, brother.
Brother,
And
they stop it. How much did Rob pay you to tell me that?
that was all freestyle, baby. That was all freestyle.
Wow, man, you're too kind. You're too kind. Thank you, man. It's crazy to see how content has changed over the years, man. It's like, wow, man, because it's just evolved. It's nuts. It's not nearly what it was just even a couple of years ago.
Yeah, no, it's completely changed. I think once you started showing your face more, it changed the game. Like, well, there's Rob was there. Mr. Groit might have been there too back in the day. Yeah, so yeah, you know. But it was just like, when you came out and started showing your face, it felt like it's more accepting. That, all right, we're just going to do this and we're going to get everybody out here and we're going to start showing it. Because I was like, I'm going to start showing my face too. And because I didn't at first on Instagram. And I was like, one of my boss, he was like, hey, man, you know, you should show your face. You got one of the faces that people love and the energy that people love. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's do it. And so I did it and I haven't looked back, man. So
it's infectious.
It is. I encourage anybody out there that if you wanted to get into the community, right now is the time, because right now we're moving, baby. We got these wheels moving, and we're going towards legalization, which is going to happen. It is just a matter of time. And when like the people who are in the states that can't show their face because you know they're gonna get in trouble and stuff, they're not gonna have to worry about that soon. So. It's going to be a great time, guys.
It is going to be a great time. It is going to be a great time. Since you mentioned it, legalization soon. I don't want to dive into too much politics for those that don't like to dive into too much politics. However, do you think legalization will happen with either one of the two political candidates?
I do. I think there's incentive on both sides to do it. So, if you wanted to go, you know, the other side, the red side, they're all about money. Well, not all about money, but people want money. And there's a lot of money in this business, and there's a lot of money to be made, a lot of money to be taxed, a lot of money out there, and, you know, and medicine too. There's a lot of people who don't think it's medicine, but it is. Okay. And so the other side is like, hey, it's medicine. They want the money too. Because, I mean, let's be honest, everybody's just, this world nowadays, capitalism is built off of making money. And so when pharmaceuticals come, stuff that's going to be helping, you know, some stuff that you could say is medicine, they're going to try to charge more money for it. It's just what's going to happen. But I am excited to even see it happen, guys, because this was non-existent just 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Well, let's say about 30 years ago. It was where it was really. Like,
you're right. Like, no, you're 100% right.
Like about 30 years ago, it was unheard of. They never would have thought that we'd be to this point to where we're at right now. So I say that we take the little bit that we can and, you know, just make lemon juice out of whatever lemons we got, man. Shit.
You're absolutely. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. You are far more optimistic than I am. I do consider myself optimistic. I do think my glass is always half full, rather than half empty. I think it's important that we think that way because there has to be hope. There has to be hope.
There has to be, man. It can't be all doom and gloom, man. You have to be like, hey, there's a bright side in everything. Even if everything goes to shit, at least people aren't getting their houses kicked down and fucking kids taken away for fucking weed anymore.
You're right.
Man. I mean, at least there's access to where people could be able to get the stuff. Like, and the way I think about it is if they do legalize it and it goes corporations and all that shit, hopefully it's like beer and where you have your hard manufacturers, your Budweisers, your big manufacturers, and then you have your craft beers. And that's where I think that the cannabis is going to start going to where we make our at-home beers, at-home craft cannabis, and only the real ones know like an IPA is better than a fucking Budweiser lager, you know?
Yep.
So we'll be over here smoking the dank, and they're smoking that bunk, paying a lot of money for it, you know?
Yep. It's like me and my Millers. Yep, me and my Millers. It's just watered down pee. Yeah.
Hey man, I used to love it when I was drinking. I used to love Millers and the champagne of beers. What is that? It's a Miller, right?
Miller. I don't know who the champagne of beers is.
Yeah, champagne of
Is
beers.
it? Is that what it is? Miller?
I think it is. Yeah.
The only reason I drink Miller, and I don't know whether people know this or not, but the only reason I even drink it is because they sponsored Dope as Yola. And they sponsored the Dope as Usual podcast. Or maybe it was him, it was one or the other. It was either him or his podcast. I think it was the podcast. And I thought, obviously, they've got some kind of reason that they want to be in our space. But I thought to show love to one of us is pretty huge. I thought that was pretty huge. And so I immediately, I was drinking Bud. Not that it was anything better, but then I switched over to Miller. Immediately. I was like, thanks, man. Appreciate you guys for stepping up.
Yeah, and I feel like it's once it becomes mainstream and legalized and banks could get in it and everybody could get their money insured, and while they're going into the corporations and building their businesses, that there are going to be more collaborations and more people that are going to want to jump on it and going to be like, hey, you know what? I'm not looking at weed like it's so bad nowadays, because really, let's be 100 on here, all right? Weed ain't killed nobody, but how many people die from alcohol a fucking day? Shit, man. Like, like we need to be like 100 on there. People die from alcohol every day. Nobody dies from weed.
You're right. However, that one person.
Shit.
Yeah. No, actually, I didn't know this. I actually covered this. There was, and if you can call it this, but there was a lady working in I want to know. I can't remember off the top of my head where it was. Missouri. She was working in a plant in like a cannabis plant, or like in a cannabis factory operation, and she was in a sorting area. I think it was like a grinding and rolling area, and she actually died on the inhalation of essentially, like, I'm not a scientist, but I would assume like suffocated, because
yes. Now I've heard of that happening with cinnamon and other products that are very fine and get into the lungs, and that can happen. But that wouldn't necessarily say that's from the effects of
well, it's the effect. I'm just playing devil's avocado because I love it. But it's the effect of grinding it up and rolling it up. Right? If you weren't doing that, it wouldn't happen.
Even on the top of that, what I would say is, even in the, like, we should tally it the way that alcohol and fucking cannabis, like, okay, alcohol has millions of deaths throughout the years of the 100 years we've been making alcohol, or actually thousands of years we've been making alcohol. Now tally up all those deaths. Now one over here. Come on, guys. Come on. Like, let it slide. But I can see where the stigma is still at. I mean, because they did a number in the prohibition times of cannabis. They did a number on demonizing it, and it is ingrained in some people's heads still to this day. The people that would really benefit from the pain, from the pain relief, or I say it helps me manage my pain, but the pain management that cannabis does would help these people, but they are so ingrained that they will not take, like my neighbor. She's just like, no, I will not. I said, here, look, here's a little edible. I'll give you a little edible, help with your pain. No, no. I say, hey, that's your choice. Okay, I'll leave you alone. But it's just, I look at it like, damn, man, they did a working on you, man. You fell for that shit. Just hook, line, sinker.
Yes.
I'm like, ah.
Yeah, I've got tons of people in that space. I've got tons of people in my space that feel the same way. And not only that, like, before, it was like a it was like a switch when legalization came around, because it was like they were my father-in-law is one of them, and bless his soul, I love him to pieces. He's the only man in my life. He was 100% against it. Then it came legal, and shit, he's using it. I'm not gonna say as much as me, but almost every day. You know?
Hey man, At least he's in it, man.
You
At
darn
least he's in
right. Yep, darn right. It just felt good to have that opening with him.
Let's just talk about how much did his life like did it change it? Did he get happier?
Huge.
Did it like
Huge.
see?
Yeah.
See, it opens a door for people that they had never seen before. They had never had, like, some of these people, they've never had that moment to relax like cannabis makes you do. Like, you know, you end of the day you're working, you're like fucking stressed out, you just take a couple of hits, man, and boom, you're like, man, fuck my problems, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, these people haven't experienced that. It's heartbreaking for me, because I really take it like, oh God, you guys could really, really benefit from this. But because of the brainwashing, you were destined to just be miserable. It's God, man, it's so sad, so sad. If they would just and I mean, on top of it, you can't just give somebody weed right off the bat who's never had it, because there's panic attacks and shit like that. We don't want that to happen.
That's for real.
So,
yep, that's a
it's
real
for real,
thing.
and it will 100% turn off people from cannabis, and I understand it, because it's not fun. It's not fun to have those panic attacks, right? So what I would do, because people have always called me Dr. Feel Good, and you know, I'm always getting people in, I would ease them into it, you know. So here's one bite of a muffin, take that first, like, let that kick in, see how you feel, get a good night's sleep. And then the next day we'll try a little bit more. Yep. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little more. If you just throw people in with the edible, fuck.
Yeah. That's Mrs. P. That's Mrs. P. Unfortunately, she did an edible.
Okay.
Barely survived. She did good. She did good. It was a rough experience, and if you've had a rough experience off of edibles or anything, edibles, you know, right?
Here's a story.
I was not well prepared.
Yes, and that's something that you're not prepared for, because nobody knows that it's gonna happen or how it's gonna happen, what's gonna happen, you know. And when it does, you're just so freaked out, and you're just so. Here's a story. So, this guy, I had just started making edibles, and I have, you know, a bunch of trim, and that's what I make my edibles out of, right? Or I infuse my oil, and then I use the oil. Well, this guy, he's like, man, edibles don't touch me. They don't touch me at all. I take 1,000 milligram edibles, like nothing. I was like, okay, all right. He's like, man, even your edibles won't touch me. I said, oh. I said, is that a challenge, sir? Is that a challenge? He's like, it is. It's a challenge. Oh, all right. You got it. I'll be back tomorrow. So I came home and I said, all right. I had a recipe made up, but I was like, you know what? I'm fucking this guy up. I'm fucking everybody up. So I put 34 grams of flour, high quality flour too. Broke it up and infused it into 2 cups of butter. Okay. Now, butter, for those who don't know, THC binds to fats more. So the more fat that you have, the more stronger that your edibles are going to come out. So I decided butter is the one where I'm going to go. And I infused that shit, bro. I gave him, and these were cookies too. And I gave him these cookies, and holy shit. He was like, he came back, he was like, bro, my dick was in the dirt, man. But he's like, dude, that was the best fucking edible I've ever had. Like, oh my God, I'm so freaked out. Well, I ate one too. And I ate one, and oh shit. Yeah. I was panicking. We had to get into a car. I didn't want to go. I was like, babe, no, I can't get in the car. I can't get in the car. It's like, come on, it's an emergency. We got to go. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst time for an emergency to happen. Because I am not here. Like, I am fucked. I'm up in the sky, dude. So gone. So we're in the car, and it's just like a roller coaster, and I'm just like, oh, this is crazy. Tripping out. I wanted to cut down. The panic attack started happening, and I almost went outside and cut down my plants. That's how bad it was. Like, and I had some big fucking outside plants going, and these were my first outdoors, so I got like 2 pounds per plant, so they were huge. But yeah, I was very, very thought the cops were breaking in. It was just, I haven't made that recipe since, and I'm not going to either. It fucked up too many people, and I don't like that. Now there was a few people that I gave the cookie to, and they loved it. Like my homeboy's mom, she was ecstatic. She's like, that was the only edible that ever got me high, and I was like, what? And she's like, I want more. And I told her, no, I'm sorry. I swore off that recipe. It fucked it. It got too many people fucking like panic attack, and I won't do it. And
Are there too many people out there, do you think, that can say that they fucked an entire community up, though?
Oh, I don't think so, man.
Bro,
But
that
I
could
know
be
I-
something. That could be something. No, man, I totally get it, bro. I totally get it. I've got friends. Well, first of all, I actually compare an edible overdose to the very same as a mushrooms overdose.
Oh shit, man, you might be right. Because
You know, mushrooms can really fuck you up. But an overdose gives you this panic feeling of doom, where it's like you think you need help, you need emergency help. And I remember doing some pretty fucked up things. I almost made out with a buddy of mine. And man, I'm telling you, mushrooms are wild, bro. But you learn that you never want to overdose again. That was one thing, you know? Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
And it almost happened again. So there's the person I follow, Emily Anything Grows. I want to give her a huge shout out. Love that girl, man. She is the best. Emily, she sent over some edibles and she had it labeled on her edibles. She had medium or low, medium, and high. And so I was like, wow, okay, I'm gonna try a medium. It was great, perfect. But then I was like, I want to try high. And it was this close to becoming that panic attack one, but it was straight buzzing, bro. Just playing Spider-Man. Like I was Venom. Like I was all in there. It was so cool, dude. So there's a very fine line between the right amount and an overdose.
Yes.
Because it is very close, but when you like don't get to the overdose and you just get to that perfect amount, like I'm telling you, her muffins were perfect, bro. Oh my god, I was so high, but like I did have a green over. For those who don't know what a green over is, it's when you it's a cannabis hangover, and it happens. You can wake up in the morning and feel like you were drunk, and
Fucked up, man. Yeah, I 100% agree, man. It's one of those things that I feel like is kind of like under discussed. But
it really is. We need to talk about this because it's something that we don't talk about enough, and we have to acknowledge that there is such thing as a green hangover.
It's a repercussion. It's a repercussion. It's a quote unquote a negative effect because it's not desirable.
No,
it's not desirable.
I mean, it's not to the point of alcohol.
No.
You're throwing up and stuff, but you will have a headache. Pop an aspirin, you'll be fine throughout the rest of the day, you know. But still, there is that possibility. So I wanted to put that out there and let everybody know.
I've gotten high right up into the wee hours in the morning, where it's like, you know, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. I'm a dad now, so I say wee hours. I'm like 10, 11.
Facts. It's past my bedtime right now.
Yeah, right. It's tea. I know it's a little late. The amount of times where it's like I smoke just a little too much. Not maybe too much, but it's like I fall asleep, but then waking up, I'm almost over. I'm like really tired. I'm kind of like beat down a little bit, and yeah, it can definitely be a repercussion. I run my streams late until like midnight, 1 o'clock, and sometimes people are like, yo, let's have a hoot, and it's like 11:30, 12 o'clock, and I'm like, no, if I have a hoot right now, chances are I'm probably not gonna sleep because I'm gonna be wired because I get high and I can't sleep. It's tough, but B, it's like, nah, I just the next morning I want to be fresh, I want to be alive, I want to be open and free, you know. And
I feel you, man.
Consume.
That's one thing too. That's one thing too, is when you get older, you don't smoke as much, or you know, the high just hits a little bit harder too. Like, because nowadays I don't smoke like I used to. I used to smoke joints all day, you know, just go through them like crazy. But nowadays I don't. Nowadays one joint will last me all fucking day. Actually, mostly 2-3 days sometimes, because I'll just take a couple of hits and I'm like, if I get too blazed, I can't talk. And that's one thing that I don't like, is if I get too high, I can't articulate my words right. It doesn't come out right. I kind of rap a little bit, so I like to flow.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk, I'll try to flow a little bit too, like ba-da-da-da-da-da. And when I'm high, I can't fucking do it, man. Can't do it. So, but yeah,
I feel you.
That's
No, you know what? It's like, shout out to Q-Pins. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Q-Pins. He's a consumer creator. I always see there's two kind of realms. Well, there's more, but there's two kind of realms in our space. There's the grower and then the consumer. And then there's the same thing with content creators. There's the grower content creator and the consumer content creator. He's a consumer content creator. And he actually posted a question on X and was like, how late in the day, for those that wake and bake, do you wait? Do you wait to wake and bake? And some people were like, immediately, wake up, come downstairs and blaze. And I've had those kind of days for sure, where it hits like that. But I would argue that unless I'm like going somewhere, like either the gym, if I'm heading to the gym, typically first thing in the morning, I'm gonna have a rip. But generally, I often wait a couple hours. I'll get up at 7:30-ish, 8 o'clock, and then do a few things. I'll have a coffee, I'll enjoy outside, sit on the deck or whatever, and soak it up. Then I'll have a hoop. I don't know about you.
I think it's coming with age. I think it's an age thing. Also, I wanted to say, isn't working out and being stoned like so fucking nice? Like,
yes,
I sit there and I stretch when I'm working out because I started going to the gym too. Not because of you, but I've been watching you.
No, but good for you. Hey, good for you, man.
So,
good for you.
Thank you. So I've been getting in the gym and I've been working out and stretching. I don't know if you saw, but I'm trying to go to a new profession, trying to get into welding and stuff like that. So,
good for you. I'm
trying to get into a trade. Yeah, I'm trying to get into a trade. Get out of the kitchen because kitchens, hey, no hate on kitchens, but I've been in a kitchen my whole career. And nowadays I have skills and I have building skills and I know how to work tools and I know how to work on cars and stuff like that. So now I can't sit in a kitchen anymore and be on my feet for so long for not the amount of money that I want. I need benefits. I need all this stuff. I got to go do it. But
yes.
So I've started working out so that I'll be ready for that when I get to that. So, but yeah, you get high and just work out, brother. Oh man, I fucking sit there and just like zone out on the TV, watch a movie and shit. Like, it's pretty nice.
I do the exact same thing. I get blasted before I go. Typically, I have like maybe one or maybe two hoots as I'm getting there, kind of thing, and then I jump right into it. And I kind of get zoned into my phone, so it's like I go to the they have all kinds of crazy things. Like like I hadn't been into the gym in a very long time until like last year, and they have like these sweet it's like perfect reps. It's like perfect for the dumbbells. And I could put my phone down like right there, and I'll just zone out. Sometimes I don't even do anything. I'm just watching whatever it is on I'm watching Can of Convos and I'm just listening to you guys. And I don't even do anything. But then I realize that people are watching and I only have like a time frame. That's the nice thing this is the nice thing about going out somewhere, because if I have dumbbells around my room, but I don't. I use them all the time. What do you mean? They're not just there for show. No, I barely use them because it's like there's no accountability. There's no discipline. Yeah. When I'm at the gym, it's like I know people are watching. I know, not just that, but it's like there's a time. You can only be on a machine for 30 minutes. I know that people are just like, eyeing things up. Even though when I get to the gym, I honestly don't give a hoot. I'm just zoned into my phone, zoned into my routine that like, don't care. I'm just looking at people like, good for you. And
I feel like,
go ahead.
I feel like it was the charge. When I saw on the card, on my debit card that I was paying for this gym, I was like, I am going every fucking day. Cause like, nowadays my asshole is just tightened up. Okay. I'm very cheap.
It's with getting with age.
Getting with age, baby. So as soon as I saw that debit card charge, I was like, okay, I'm going to the gym from now on every day. And I'm using all the stuff that they have there.
Yes. The charge is one thing. You're 100% right. Because that shit ain't cheap.
No.
But
Planet Fitness is pretty nice. But
which one? Planet Fitness?
Planet Fitness is pretty good. It's only like $25 a month, which is pretty good. That's the best price that you can get around anywhere. Like usually to go to a gym is like $100 a month.
I think I'm 60. No,
60. Yeah,
I'm $60 now.
But that's not counting the one time the signing up fee too. Because
there might have been, probably was.
Yeah. So you gotta
There's the pool and stuff, but I don't even use it, so I'm getting scammed.
Brother,
Yeah.
you better get in there and use that shit, man. Just think of it like you're
right.
paying for it. You might as well use it. You know what I mean?
I know. I know. You said it though. Like it's like as you get older, it's like I not only do I get cheap, I also get hard with my time. Everything for me is like make or break for time. I'm always killing myself because it's the thing about working like for yourself sometimes is that nobody's going to tell me to go to work. And that is a problem. That is a problem. Right? So it's like I'm always constantly thinking about work, man. And I want to congratulate you for taking big steps in your life as a dad and as a man, changing careers, trying to follow your passion. Good for you, man. Have you been welding for a while?
I just jumped in. Actually, since I was trying to, so I should start at the beginning because I don't know if any of your viewers have seen me or know anything, but I was a big drug addict for a long time. When I was younger, I came up gangbanging. I came from a little town. Getting in trouble and getting high is all that we knew, and that's all that we did. So, we gangbang, we got high, and I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be the best at it because that's just my personality. So, that's why they got the name Loco because I was straight fucking local. I do some shit that other people wouldn't do. So, I went a little hard, and I did that for many, many years. I got stuck in alcohol, in the cycle of alcohol, and I became a real bad alcoholic. I, could not get up without having a 211, at least 2 or 3 211s. Which are malt liquor. If you guys don't know,
I didn't know.
Those are 8.0 alcohol. So very strong shit. And that's the only shit that I could get up and drink to be able to get through my day. So I started swelling up after 16 years of doing that. I would say about 6 years of doing the 211s and getting heavy, but anyways, I'd been drinking for 60 years. At the end of it, I was up to drinking a half gallon of 100 proof vodka every other day. And I would still be coherent enough to leave just a little bit so I could have a drink in the morning. And so I would do that until my body almost gave out and like I couldn't do it anymore. So then I'd go back to drinking the malt liquors for a couple of days till I got my health back. And then I'd do drugs and I'd be all twacked out and shit. And then I'd go back to alcohol. Well, I swelled up to 400 pounds. And I was almost 400 pounds. I was like maybe 390 when I caught swine flu. All of a sudden, I was big, unhealthy. I hadn't eaten and I hadn't slept in a long time. And the virus got me. Boom. I got it. Nobody around me got it. Only me. I coughed in my wife's face. She never got it. My kids never got it. Nobody did. Only me. So when this happened, I couldn't breathe. I was sitting there and I was just like, oh God, I can't breathe. Maybe I should take a hit of meth. And I was till I go and hit the fucking pipe again. And I was like, okay, that didn't work. Let me go on the toilet. And then I started falling out and I couldn't breathe. Told my wife, call 911. She's like, okay, call 911. They come get me and they're just asking me, hey, what's happening? I'm like, bro, I don't know. All I know is I can't breathe. Boom. Gone. Woke up 3 weeks later in Portland. I'm from Washington, so they flew me over to Portland. Woke up 3 weeks later and was asking everybody what happened. Well, what had happened was that virus got me, swine flu, turned into pneumonia. I almost died. So when they called the helicopter over, like they had to stop the helicopter like 2 times because they had to bring me back to life. So I did die a couple times. Now, I woke up 3 weeks later. While I was out is when I saw all the visions. I saw everything. So I was floating there, and it wasn't like I saw anything. It was just kind of like I think what happens is in these situations, your brain just uses the imageries that you have in there, because it was like Dragon Ball Z for me. I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, so it was like I was floating around in these clouds, in these pink clouds. And then I heard hell. Started hearing it because I had heard it once before when I was huffing gas when I was a kid, and I went into this hallucination, and it was just the most evil music I've ever heard in my life. evil, bro. Like I cannot duplicate this music. I've never heard anything like it before. But I heard it again when I was in a coma, and I instantly knew. I was like, oh shit, there it is. Oh fuck, and it started getting louder and louder and louder. And I just started getting scared, just more scared, like, oh fuck, I fucked up. I fucked up. Oh no, I fucked up. I fucked up. And then it started going up. And I started going up, and I could feel myself going up. And I was like, and then that music faded out, and then reggae music faded in. It was crazy. It's crazy. I didn't even like reggae music at this time, so I don't even know where it came from. But it was so calm, cool. Just I felt at peace, and I started feeling it more and more the more that I went up. Well, I went up and I talked to God. I don't know who I talked to, but I talked to somebody, and they were like, "Hey, you need to be the light that you were meant to be. Stop the road that you're going on. Be nice to your wife," is one main thing that I remember it saying. And I was like, hey, just give me another chance. I promise I'll fix it. I can fix it. I can fix everything. And, all right, you get your chance. Boom! I wake up and I have this thing in my mouth, and I'm just in the hospital. Everything's just all crazy, man. Then I start having the hallucinations off of the propofol and all the stuff coming off of this thing, because then they hit, and it had been 3 weeks and 18 days since that had happened. To me, it felt like that. It felt like this, bro. I had no clue that it had been 3 weeks. I was like, what? And I just kept asking them, what happened? Did I get in a car wreck? Did I get in a car wreck? No. Well, I felt like I got in a car wreck, but I didn't. They were like, you got sick. And I'm just like, what? How? Anybody wants to see it, it's on my YouTube, actually. If you go down all the way down to my page on the bottom, there's a little footage of me laying there in a coma and how big I was and everything. Disclaimer, I'm a little half naked, so, watch out there. But you get to see all of it. I have another video of them feeding me through the feeding tube, too. But anyways, so I came out of that, and I knew from that instance I had this vision, this hallucination of where the meth came from, how it was from Hitler inventing it, his people inventing it, was the devil whispering in their ears. From them inventing it, from it going to the dealer, to me selling it, to me smoking it, to the same thing. And it just boom, guys. I was like, I'm done. I'm never touching that shit ever again. And ever since that day, I've never touched it. Took me about a month and a half after getting out of the hospital for me to get over the alcohol. But like that, I started getting better. As soon as that hospital, they wheeled me out of that hospital, I was just getting better by the day. Better. I had to learn how to walk again. And I had to learn how to, get back into the rhythm of using my body. But once I did, I never looked back, guys. I got ready. I got better. I lost 170 pounds in like a year. I stopped drinking. I got my life together. We bought a house. I got my license. For 20 years, I never had my license. And then I went and got my license, got a job, started working, just completely changing everything. Created this community, with the little bit of community that I have, created the show, and started understood that I needed to stick with my first love, which was cannabis, man. And the thing that brings us all together. And
yes.
That's my story there.
That's a great story, bro. And first of all, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that, man, because
you're welcome.
As a former addict myself, I understand how difficult it can be to try to raise a family and build a community while also having these demons that kind of hang over top of us. Drugs never saw me in a life or death situation, so I can't totally relate in regards to how you felt and what you went through. I have faced death. I've talked to death at his door, and I understand. Yeah, you're 100% right, and I understand coming back and having the opportunity to rejuvenate my name, to put some respect on my name, and that starts with me. I don't care about the hand I've been dealt. Nobody cares about how you were treated as a child. Nobody cares how your teachers tried to,
It's
no one cares.
It's all about how you do it, man.
That's right.
How you come out the other side.
That's exactly it, man. We still need to become productive men of society. And for you to
just because you're grown does not mean you're a man. You have to go through these things. That's why I like to say, like on Shawshank Redemption, I climbed through a river of shit and I came out clean on the other side.
Yes.
And I fucking and if I can do it, people, anybody can do it, okay? Because I am a fucking dumbass.
Loser. Me too, bro. That's it.
So if I can inspire anybody, just look at me and be like, hey, because really there's nothing special with me, all right? It's like you guys could, and one thing that I've always said is all the stuff that the alcohol and the drugs have made you feel, because everybody does it because it brings you out of the, it makes you a different person, or it makes you more sociable and shit like that, right? It's all in you. It's all in there. You can be that without the alcohol, man, without the drugs.
You're
all
100% right.
And there's I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I didn't want to interrupt.
And there's just so many people out there that are good people, man, and the drugs just have them. As soon as they get away from them drugs or the alcohol, they get over that hump, they will become the person that they are meant to be. And I think it's a beautiful thing when somebody actually, gets to show who they are, fix everything. Because trust me, man, it is stupid easy to break to destroy your life, but it's hard as fuck to build it back, man. To build it back up, I had to like straight up show everybody.
You got to work
everybody that I'm
every single day. Every single day, because like you just said, it's so easy to fuck it up that you got it today. Tomorrow it could be gone, because you're going to be faced with a controversy or a challenge that you just did not foresee, and you got to make a decision. And what's built your foundation that's going to lead you to make a decision that's going to guide you, hopefully, in the right decision or the right direction. I agreed with just about everything you said there. The one thing I disagreed with is that you said you're not special. And I 100% disagree. And the reason I disagree is because you are special. You're very special. And I think this is something this is a flame that's missing in a lot of people, is that when I was in university, I studied Judaism. And after the Holocaust, Jews tried to figure out how the hell this happened to them. They believed so heavily in their God, but yet they were led down a path of mass destruction, death, and deceit, if you will. And they didn't want to give up in their faith. So they reoriented themselves, and I believe this is not Orthodox Judaism. This is a nuanced Judaism, where it's that they believe in a higher power, but the higher power is in here. And you have to find that higher power. That higher power isn't just there. It's not just available. It's that you need to find it. You need to search for it. And as you just went through that whole story that you said, you found that higher power. You found that light that shines. And when you find that, it's like we become the best version of ourselves. And you've got a do you have a missus?
Yes, I do.
A wife? Is it a missus?
Yes.
Yep. I was going to say that you had a missus because I could tell, A, by the smile on that face, but B, by the things that you've accomplished and the things you've recovered from and the way you've been able to build yourself. Because, it's a weak saying, but they say behind every great man, there's a woman. But the reality,
it's 100% true.
The reality is that there's two worlds often built that just overlap. The world that a woman builds and the world that a man builds, and often together it's the same world, but there's so much going on each side of those circles that it's like without it we wouldn't be able to accomplish the things that we have today. I wouldn't be able to say that I was able to fight addiction if it wasn't for the addiction that I found in love. Never been loved before like the way that I felt with my wife. Because I didn't have parents. Did you have a good father, good parents?
No, I did not. I came from the ghetto, man. So I came from the, I was kicked out. I was thrown to the wolves. So at 13 years old, I was literally thrown to the wolves. I got expelled. been drugs, streets, chicks, just going crazy, man. I grew up too quick. I didn't have a childhood, and so going to jail and being locked up since the age of 13 to I think it was 30. I think it might have been 30. That whole time, just being locked up left and right, left and right. So no, I did not have a good one. But I did end up living with my dad, and we grew together, and it took me a while through going through this. Took me time to where I had taken some of the steps from NA and 12 steps, and I was like, okay, I need to take accountability. I need to look at my demons and see why am I so angry? Why am I so angry? And I had to look, at my childhood, the things I went through, even breakups and shit. One thing that I've noticed is a lot is even breakups that happen, we don't process it and we don't get over these things, and it leads, and it just all adds up into anger. And so anger is something that I feel is the reason why we do most of the things that we do as addicts. And I had to work with those. I had to work it through, man. And I did. I faced all this stuff. I went to every person, my dad, my mom, my wife. I had apologized to my kids. That one was good. Like last year, I went to my kids and I hugged them and cried with them and told them, like, I wish I could have done things different. I wish I wouldn't have repeated the cycle that I went through. The same abuse, screaming, the damn fucking same. I did the same thing to my kids that happened to me, man. And I wish I wouldn't have done it. But, there's nothing we
starts
could do.
Today, baby. It
started then.
Today, right?
And it did help.
Or it started then.
They started then because me and my kids' relationships have completely changed. They don't hate me as much, and I see why they hate me. I put myself in their shoes and was like, oh, well, no shit. Of course. Like, I'd hate a motherfucker too that was acting like that. So now I just try to fix everything.
Accountability is huge, bro. Accountability is huge because I say the same thing, man. I had no fucking family structure. Like, it started, it tried, it crumbled. No father figure whatsoever. Tried to be there. I thought he was doing what men do by staying at work only and never coming home and taking care of your family. I thought that's what men did until I had a child. And I realized, how the fuck can I leave this guy, man? This is my flesh and blood. I love him. I want everything to do with him. And so it's like to be able to identify, though, that it's like, it's not in. They had shit going on too.
That's one thing I really like. Like I said, you got to put yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
What shit did they have going on?
Yeah.
And oh man, it's fucking trauma for them too. Hurt people. Fuck it, hey man. It's a cycle, and it's a cycle that we have to be able to take a step back and look and be like, hey man, you know what? I'm gonna break this cycle.
You're damn right. You're damn right. You're putting respect on that name right now, man. Yeah. Because you get to put the name that you wear on your back is the name that you get to give to your children. Is the name that your wife gets to bear. And that's the name that you create. Unless there's some incredible atrocities that have been committed, it's like there is no reason that you can't start that change now.
Yeah,
and,
man.
And I believe that, and that takes a man. That takes a man. So good for you. Man. Good for you. And to have that conversation and to move forward, that's massive, man.
It's big, massive time, man.
We can always I don't know about you, but I always use those moments of, because I was away a lot as my son was younger and stuff for work and so on and so forth. And I use those moments, and every moment in between where I could have done more, I use that as a fire under my ass to make sure that tomorrow is the day that I do more. Don't let it slip. Don't let it slip. And it's, you walk by their bedrooms and it's like you just see what you've done. You've created such incredible people, such masterpieces. And it's like,
I'm very proud of my kids, man. I fucking I'm so glad they didn't go down the road I did. Oh shit, man. Like, they're a complete opposite of anything that I did. So I feel like it's a success. I just had my 18-year-old kid. My youngest is 18, so made it to the 18, baby.
Congrats, brother. You did it, man. Yeah, and you know what? This is something I'm also growing to understand with myself, is that they are like you, man. They're strong. They're fighters. They're outgoing. Like, that's what you have that you gave on. They watched you fight. They watched you struggle. And they watched you turn into the man that we are today and the father that we are and we're gonna be. Because the man that we were is nothing compared to the man that we're gonna be.
Facts. Yeah, and that's why I decided that I'm gonna, change jobs. I gotta work. Like, I gotta make some real money, man. I gotta have my own benefits, 401ks, and like retirements. I never would have thought, coming from where I came from, Pigeons, never would have thought that I'd be talking like this, man. But I see that it's possible. And being able to see that it's possible and I can do this because there's no more little voice in there telling me, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Even friends. I've even had to cut off friends that aren't, if you're not like, hey, bro, you can do this, then you got to go, dog. I can't have you by me if you're not helping me get up to the fucking thing, because definitely 100%, if I get up here, I'm pulling as many people as I can with me. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, man, I see you got fire in you. Come with me, dog. Let's go get a job, man. Like, let's go do something. Let's make you some money. And just like my friends that I brought around, like, I just reconnected with one of my friends after like 20 years of not talking to him. And I'm like, bro, this is the best time of your life to meet me, because now I'm going to bring you with me. Let's go get you a debit card. Let's go get you set up with this. Let's go get you some insurance. Just cause, man. I mean, fuck, why not? The thing that I love to say is, why not? Why?
Yeah.
Why can't I do that? Why can't you do that? Why? There's no fucking reason.
No, you're right, man. You're right. Get her done, man. And you're getting her done, man. You're getting her done. So, can of convos, bro. Can of convos. Right. Taking that energy of everything that you've built, the man that you've become, and that willingness. I can already feel it through the hour that we've been to. You have the gift to gab. You have the ability to share. You have the ability to make someone feel comfortable when they're in your space, and that's exactly what you're doing. You started on Instagram, and you've moved to YouTube. Can of Convos. That's under your personal channel though. Sly space AKA space LOCO. And Mrs. P throws it up all the time, so everyone knows where to go. Just type that into the search, and boom, you're there. How does it feel to be the host of these conversations and talk to so many different people?
Well, man, it is mind blowing, because it definitely took off more than I thought it would. I was just like, you know how they say, just do what you like to do and the rest will come, right? And so that's what I was like, well, I like to talk with people and I like to bring people together about cannabis. And so why not? So there was this this follower, or this chick on there, Yanni Supreme. Huge shout out to her. She's doing actually management now. She's managing musicians, and she's doing really good for herself. But she's the first one who had me on her podcast started. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, I'm so sorry, Yanni. But
that happens, bro. That happens.
And I was on hers, and I was like, you know what? I could do that. That's pretty easy. So then I started from there. So a huge shout out from Yanni, because after that, then I got a hold of Emily Anything Grows, and I asked her, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. What do you think I should name it? And she's like, Can of Combos. Oh, and nice. I was like, yo, that was beautiful. Like, just right off the bat. Boom. And I was like, boom, that's it. Nice. Well, that's what it is. And so from then on, I started just booking as many of the people that I see out there who have good personality, who like to spread the knowledge of cannabis. And I was like, I'm doing this. I'm sending messages. One thing too is I sent messages to people that I didn't think that would do it, like you. I don't know why, but I was like, Pigeons is too big to do this, Mr. Grow is too big to come and do this. Rob is too big, but no, you guys weren't too big, man. You guys hit me back and you were like, let's do it. So just that right there just made such a boost, guys. You have no idea how much that helped. I was like, oh dude, I got some big names, I'm doing this. So after getting you guys, I got Zigzag from MB Riders on. That's what I listened to, man. Dude, MB Riders was one of the rap groups that I listened to coming up as a kid. Like every day I listened to MB Riders. So I knew Zigzag like straight up. And so when I sent him a message and he got back to me, was like, yeah, I'm down. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. Like, I'm still tripping over it, still fangirling, throwing my panties up on there.
Yep. Yep, good, good. You should. I've got a few of those myself. I get it. You know, we did.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many. I don't even want to name them. I don't even want to, because like every
Chad
time,
Westport, like it was
bro,
just so
every
crazy.
time we get someone, I'm like, you know who I am? You know, that's kind of where I'm at. Where I'm like, what? But you know, I kind of live too by the motto where it's like, worst they can say is no. Man,
that's exactly what I say too, man. What's the worst that could happen is them not get back.
No thanks.
Or them say no. I'm too
you.
busy or whatever.
Appreciate it. Can't do it.
Hey, thanks for even writing me back. That's the way I think about it. Like,
that's it.
Thanks, man. At least I have this person knows who I am now. So like maybe down the road I could fucking, you know, if we ever met in person, I'd be like, yo, man, here's Loco. What's up? Candy Combos.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh shit, I remember you. I'd be like, yeah, you remember turning me down, motherfucker?
Yeah, right? See, okay, the thing is for me is that people reach out via Instagram all the time, and Instagram hides a lot of the DMs that you get from people. There's literally a thing called hidden response or hidden things. And I remember, like, I'm not going to say names. I've been reached out to by some big names that I didn't realize had even reached out to me until 52 weeks plus later when I go through the hidden thing. I'm like, that exists?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I saw that. I noticed that too right away. And I was like,
why does that even exist? I don't understand.
And I hit it. Well, it's because some accounts, they try to act as like spam. And so some accounts like get flagged a lot. So these bigger ones, if they send you a message, since they got flagged, they'll probably most likely put it in a spam account. And that's basically what the hidden one is. Because in there, when you go in there, there is a lot of the ones that are spam. So where you're like, hell no, you know, block, delete, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But yeah, every once in a while they'll do that. Now, on the topic of Instagram, all right, for those who don't know, Instagram is on their shit list. Like Cannabis creators are on their shit list, and they're just taking down accounts left and right, man. I think Emily Anything Grows said that it could be because hashtagging. The more that you hashtag, the more people get to see it, right?
Sure.
Well, the more haters get to see it too.
That's it.
The haters see it and they just flag because people are jealous. They're jealous that they can't get high, man. And because of their jobs or whatever it is, their religion, they can't do it, so they don't want
because you're doing it better than them. That's typically how it is. Like,
that too.
But my haters, I'm just doing it better than them. That's how it is.
Yes.
Anyone who wants to build a community wants to build to grow. They want to build a community. This isn't about size. This isn't about how good you can execute your editing skills or so on and so forth. It's how much are you willing to spread the message and awareness? How much are you willing to put it all on the line for the plant? That's really what it is.
Yeah,
that's how it should
and
be.
that's what 100% what it is. How much do you want to put on the line for this plant? And for me, I'm like, shit, all of it, baby. I don't care. This plant needs to be spread. These people need to know this stuff. As soon as it becomes legal, like I said, man, and people are able to grow and they're not like tripping out over a plant, then these people are going to go on here and look for this information. And I want it to be able to be seen, just abundance of it, you know, abundance of it. Oh shit, you got this. Cause I brought it up a couple days ago to somebody else, like, oh yeah, this is this Canna podcast I'm going to be on. And they're like, Canna podcast? What's that? Like, well, I mean, Cannabis podcast. Like, they're like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like, oh yeah, we blowing up, baby. We blowing up. So everybody out there,
up. Yeah, man. That's how that's where the content has come to over all the years, man. Is like, when I started, when I was just a young boy, in 2004. I didn't get to YouTube till 16, but I started in 14.
Yeah.
In 2016, the content was just, it's not that it was non-existent, it's just, it was not, you didn't have podcasts, you didn't have animated series, you didn't have personalities, you didn't, you did, there were a couple, but it was very few at that point. And it's like, now it's really started to flourish, man. And
so now I think back at the 2016s, because that's when I was in the coma. I was in the coma in 2016. So when I came out of it, it must have been late 2016 is when I started growing, or started watching you actually. And then I started looking up and I was like, well, I want to see who did it before. And I found Rob's old videos, Rob and Trey's old videos of when they were showing how to roll blunts. And I was like, what? Oh, damn. No offense, but they were young.
Oh boy, they were just babies. They're babies. I know. I'm very thankful that I didn't show my face until like 4 years later.
Oh, you handsome devil! You would have been good.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I would have been just a baby. I never had like this little thing that I have on my face. Not the dirt, but the beard. The
Okay.
this was non-existent back then. So, yeah, I got a baby face. I'm afraid to show it. Sly, brother, man, it's very clear that you and I can continue going all night long. And in fact, we will be in just a couple weeks over on your show on Canna Convos over on YouTube. I don't particularly remember the date. I have it written down. It's next month, October?
Yes, it's in October.
Like the 2-5?
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure.
Nah. Well, actually, no, it would be important. Miss P will be able to check it too. She has it in her calendar, I think.
Yours is on the 19th.
The
Yep, Saturday
19th of October. Okay, perfect.
Nice.
So the 19th of October, the link has hit the chat a few times. Make sure you check it out. We're going to have a sit-down conversation too. Is yours live or you...
No, we're pre-recording.
Oh, okay. So it won't post until a little bit later.
No,
but
it won't post till later. That way I can edit everything, put some pictures in, put a
little pizzazz.
A little pizzazz on it.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
Brother Sly, thank you so much for coming. If anybody wanted to reach out, have a conversation with you, where could they reach you?
You can reach me at Sly _AKA_loco on Instagram. And the YouTube page. You can go onto the YouTube page, Sly space AKA Loco space Loco. And there's the kind of combos on there. You could always leave a message. If you hit me up on Instagram, I will hit you back. I do see all the messages, and I try to write back to as many people as I can. You're just getting a little bit, I'm starting to get a little bit more followers. So, don't take offense if I don't get to you, but I will find it sooner or later. Okay.
It happens, man. I can't count how many times I feel so bad. People reach out and I miss them probably 75% of the time now. It's guilt tripping me. It's like it gets tough, and I'm not any much bigger than you, G. So it's like I get it. Yeah. And it won't be long before you're looking down at me and I'm looking up at you. So you keep it up, okay?
Oh, are you going to be at MJ BizCon?
Yes, sir.
All right, I think I'm going to show up and make some content with you. Yep, I think I might
real?
show up. Yep.
Oh, let's go. We'll have to get you on for an episode of FTS then.
Oh, yes.
Because we're doing some live shows and we're trying to get as many guests as possible for that brief moment of time. So if you're around, we got to make that happen, man.
Spread the word, baby, because I'm going to try to make it.
Boom. I love to hear that, man. Sly, thank you so much for coming out, brother. You look fantastic. You sounded even better. Thank you for sharing and opening up, man. I encourage everyone to go check out Sly, a.k.a. Loco, over on all platforms. Man, thank you, brother. I can't wait for our conversation over on your side of things.
You're welcome, brother. Anytime I'd love to come on another time or whatever.
Of course. Invite's always open, my man.
Beautiful.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
You're welcome.
Peace, homie. Man, that was fucking epic. Thanks so much to Sly for pulling up, man. That was a great conversation. I love that dude, man. It's very clear that I could sit and talk to that guy all day long. He's full of positivity, just radiates positive energy, and that's the kind of personality that I love. And if he's coming to MJ BizCon, woo, Mrs. P are going to find you, and we're going to have a conversation. We're going to smoke a little bit. Man, that was honestly so epic. I encourage only the best of the flock to go check out Sly, because I think you'll really enjoy what he's got growing on over on his side of the web. That was epic, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've got ourselves a community highlight tonight. In true fashion, I like to end to highlight members of the community that I think need a little shine of light. Not necessarily because I can bring any more light, but because they bring a little shine of light to me with the quality of their content. So we're going to do a community highlight. Community highlights. Well, tonight, my friends, it brings me great honor. As a matter of fact, I actually referred to this good-looking son of a gun earlier and referenced his content in regards to what he's doing. And that's Q-Pins, friends. That's Cupins. Cupins is a creator on the toking side of things, does incredible reviews, and by incredible I mean he just gives very in-depth, honest reviews on his equipment. He's an honest conversation haver. He's not willing to turn away from any conversation, and that I love about creators, those that don't shy away from a good conversation. I personally am addicted to his voice. Some love it, some hate it. I personally love it. So I would love to show a little love to my man Cupins. I think he knows I exist. He followed me on Twitter not too long ago because I followed him. So shout out to Cupins, man. I love your content. Really love that you're doing it, and the flock's got your back when it comes to putting out quality content. So Cupins is our community highlight tonight. Wow. Mrs. P, how do you feel?
I have an Instagram post that it took me this long to find.
Oh, do you?
That I thought of when you and Loco were having your conversation about edibles.
Oh, an Instagram post about our conversation about edibles. Okay, okay.
I really wanted to find it in time, but it took me forever to go through my
Wouldn't even have known you were doing it in the background.
I know,
Had me convinced.
because I'm not good.
Yep, I'll admit it.
Can I show it?
Yeah, what you got?
Okay.
Gonna get me banned.
I think I've showed you.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, what you got?
Oh, hang on. It's got
Oh,
volume.
this. Yeah, you got it. Yep.
It's so good.
Yeah, this is.
People make they edibles so strong. What are you running from? Why am I tasting colors? I just wanted to go to Target. Now I gotta call somebody to come get me because my car turned into a spaceship and I don't know how to fly it. I'm not an astronaut. Yo, I'm so high. But while I'm next to the man, while I'm sitting right next to him, does anybody have any questions for God? Because I'm right there. White people make...
Yes. Yep. I get it. I get it. These are questions I've been asking myself for a little bit of time now. I get it. I get it. That's a great way to meme the weed tonight, Mrs.
When
P.
he was talking about his 34 grams in his butter, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Get it. Yeah, I get
know
it.
the video.
I get it. Yes. Yes, we've been there, haven't we?
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Meme the Weed. That was Tea with P. We're going to be back Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central. Don't forget, I want to give a huge shout out to you guys for tuning in. I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons for pulling up. Huge shout out to you guys. If you want to see your name down here, head on over to patreon.com/pigeons420. There's a ton of perks, a lot of behind the scenes content, including personalized grow classes to help you grow pounds. And in fact, we are just past the germination stage. So if you'd like to join in, it's not too late. Head over to patreon.com/pigeons420. Shout out to the sponsors of the show, Seedsman. If you head on over to Seedsman, use promo code pigeons420, get some quality genetics from quality breeders over at Seedsman. I appreciate you guys for watching. Shout out to Mrs. P. That was a hell of a show. Shout out to Sly for bringing on a wicked conversation. I'm Pigeons. I'll see you over on Twitch. Until next time, my friends. Peace.
She's gonna love you.